Alrighty, you guys. So this week's podcast is going to be over more of the olive tree using technology when studying the Greek New Testament. And if you haven't noticed yet, I'm kind of going to be going back and forth between two different topics, using the technology for the Greek New Testament and the open text model. So at this point, I'm just switching back and forth, but I'm going to go into more detail on the olive tree stuff. So the first thing that you should know about olive tree, what's essential if you're going to be using it for Greek, is that you gotta get the NA28 or whatever the new. At this point, the newest is the NA28. They may release another new one with some minute changes, but the NA28, the Nestle Elan with critical apparatus and parsings. So that's about $50 to get with critical apparatus and with the parsings. You can get just the text without any special features for less than that, but I decided to get the whole thing, and boy has it paid off. So for example, this word right here, say you're reading along, you have no idea what this is. Ekapariota. What is that? Well, you can click on it, and you might use your finger. You can have this on your phone, but basically what this is going to give you is it's going to give you lexical form, a potential gloss. This is not very good. It's from not a great lexicon, and it's also going to give you parsing here, which is for the most part pretty accurate. It does some things with vocative and with middle passive that linguistic theologically you might not agree with, but it does a good job of at least giving you something if you don't know what's going on. So the Nestle Elan with parsing and critical apparatus, it's awesome. Now, as far as getting a better gloss, if you go right here and you click look up ekparaumai, it'll bring you to a page of lexicons, and I have a few here. I'm going to recommend, and Dr. Dvorak would also recommend, the Louw-Nida. Now, what's really cool about the Louw-Nida is that they categorize things differently than your average lexicon. Now, if you're trying to find this word in your standard everyday lexicon, you would flip through alphabetically, find the epsilon, then find the chi, find the pi, and you would find your word. This lexicon does not do that. They group by meaning, or they group words around words that are similar to them. And they have all sorts of different semantic domains. It's kind of confusing and doesn't make sense. How would you find the words? Electronically, it works out really good. A physical form, you have to have a special back portion to find the words. But for example, next to this word, you're going to find apabino, to get off or to depart. And basically, they're just going to deliver the most basic sense of what the word could mean that covers a very broad context. Instead of giving translations, they're going to actually attempt to give the meaning, which is really cool. So the NA28, the Louw-Nida, and then some other little things you should know of. Obviously, there's commentaries. The two that I would recommend that aren't going to break the bank are the Bible Knowledge Commentary, which was $20 on sale. Stuff is always going on and off sale in this app. And then the Tyndale. And I got the New and Old Testament commentaries. And these are just great. Here in the resource guide, you can click on it. And there's all sorts of study information. While it doesn't address Greek as often as a specific Greek commentary would, it does a lot to teach me, at least. There's stuff that it has that I don't know, and I love that. I'm a big fan of the ESV, so I also use the ESV Study Bible Notes. The Thompson Chain reference is kind of similar to the Louw-Nida, and I'm not going to give it a hearty suggest like you need to get this, but at the same time, it's revolutionary in the fact that if you're reading, you can click on the verse and it'll give you the subject. So if I wanted to find every occurrence of locus in the New Testament, I could click right here and it would give me everything from the Old Testament and the New Testament. And you could go and say, okay, what does Revelation 9:3 have to say about locusts? Of course, this is a somewhat unimportant example, locust being, but it goes to show the point of what the Thompson chain reference can do. So that's kind of neat, something you might look into. And the final thing I'm going to show you is the interlineary Greek New Testament. And this is cool because it's an in-between, right? The way a lot of people see it is you can read the English version. You can try to find the best version, whether you pick the Message or the NIV, the ESV, and try to find the best English version, or you can just read the original Greek. And this is a great combination of the two. And if the ESV isn't your preferred translation, then there's NIV interlinearies, and there's just about everything translation-wise you could want. But as you're reading here, this is gonna help you. So you can look at this Greek line, and then when you need to, you can look down and say, oh, keruson, that's preaching, teaching, or proclaiming. And you can even click on this number here, the Strong's number, and it will again parse for you, which is really cool. So, I mean, as far as having everything at your fingertips, these resources are just about all you could want in a mobile solution. I mean, this is all on my tablet here. I can take it with me everywhere. I can bring it out in church. I can really check and make sure that the things that I'm putting into my head are at least correct and accurate from a viewpoint. So I hope this has been somewhat helpful. I know I haven't gone into any sort of theological stuff, but I just want to show you a method, a way you could do it, and maybe that'll give you a push to just keep on chugging on, keep on pushing, and just pursuing a method, something that will help you just read the Greek New Testament. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this, and have a great day.